All right, guys, so we're on Article 3, Section 3 of the Constitution. So, Article 3, Section 3. Okay, here we go. So, Section 3, Article 3. Treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them, or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of two witnesses to the same overt act or on confession in open court. The Congress shall have power to declare the punishment of treason, but no attainder of treason shall work corruption of blood or forfeiture except during the life of the person attainted. Let me read that again. It's very short. It's about treason. Interesting, right? So Article 3, Section 3. So treason against the United States shall consist in levying war against them. So I assume some sort of rebellion, working with the enemy right here, right? Or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. So being like espionage, counter espionage. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of two witnesses to the same overt act. That could be a little tricky, right? I just find it fascinating. Let's see what the interpretation of this section is. So remember, or on confession. So two witnesses have to have the same story of same sort of accusations against that treasoner, you would say, or on confession in open court. The Congress shall have power to declare the punishment of treason, but no attainder of treason shall work corruption of blood. Like no treason. Are they saying like even if somebody gets committed of treason, they're not allowed to kill him? No death penalty? Okay, so but no attainder of treason shall work corruption of blood or forfeiture, like giving up something, or forfeiture, except during the life of the person attainted. I'm not really sure what that even means. So Article 3, Section 3 is the only instance in which the U.S. Constitution defines a specific crime. It's interesting, right? That of treason. Treason is defined either as levying war against the United States or as giving aid and comfort to the enemies of the United States. The aid and comfort clause expands the definition of treason beyond physical acts of violence. E.g., for example, to the passing on of state secrets to another nation. But the Constitution also lays down specific legal procedures by which people accused of treason might be convicted of such an act. The Constitution further limits the punishment of treason to the person actually committing the act, not to family members or close associates. In 1807, in the treason trial of Aaron Burr for his role in an alleged plan to lead parts of the Louisiana Territory in a secessionist movement from the United States, Chief Justice John Marshall, so the Louisiana Territory, so he had an alleged plan to secede, to separate himself. Chief Justice John Marshall laid down further limitations on the definition of treason, establishing the doctrine of constructive treason, meaning that the mere planning of an act that might be considered treasonous was not sufficient grounds for conviction. In order to be convinced of treason, one actually had to commit or at least be in the process of committing the act. Moreover, the act of simply speaking, however stridently, in a manner that some might believe to be giving aid and comfort to the enemy was given further protection by the free speech guarantees of the First Amendment. This is very important right here. This is extremely important. The way he breaks it down right here. The Congress shall have power to declare punishment of treason, but no attainder of treason shall work corruption of blood. Like no no attainder of treason, no no convicting of that person shall work corruption of blood or forfeiture except during the life of the person attainted. Except during the life. So it's saying except during the life of the person attainted, saying you can only punish the person who did it. You can't punish. So that's what that means right there. You can only punish the person that did it. Like vocabulary and language is so it's just, it's almost so vague, you know. It is unless you understand it, or forfeiture, except during the life of the person attainted. Article 3, Section 3 is very important, man. The act of simply speaking, however stridently, in a manner that some might believe to be giving aid and comfort to the enemy, was given further protection by free speech guarantees of the First Amendment, meaning so the constructive treason, meaning that the mere planning of an act that might be considered treasonous was not sufficient grounds for conviction. Remember, this was done by this was done after that the Aaron Burr trial for treason for his role in an alleged plan to lead parts of the Louisiana Territory in a secessionist movement from the United States, which is telling us that maybe even Chief Justice John Marshall laid down further limitations on the definition of treason, establishing the doctrine of constructive treason. Maybe that might be in one of the amendments because I don't see that here. We might catch that later, meaning that the mere planning of an act that might be considered treasonous was not sufficient. It's a little weird. Like if you catch somebody that's trying to plan to bomb somebody, so you're not gonna stop them, like like that's I don't know about that. I can see both arguments. So I can see them like if I don't know if it needs to be there has to be some sort of trial. That's why trial is important. There has to be where we get all the evidence we can, and if it leans like, dude, the guy was trying to do, or he or she was really like, you could tell they were planning on on rebelling and causing a revolution, etc. There were it was more treasonous than not. So constructive treason, meaning that the mere planning of an act that might be considered treasonous was not sufficient grounds for conviction. It had to actually be committed, or at least be in the process of committing it. Like, isn't that part of the process if you're planning it? Like, that's kind of one of the processes to you. That sounds like a commitment to me, right? So, I don't know. Interesting. Aaron Burr. Just hit very good historical history here. The constructive treason. But then not only that, it was the whole thing of treason anyway. What it is. Hmm. Article 3, Section 3. The establishment, like, I would say the definition of treason. Treason defined. Treason defined. Article 3, Section 3. All right, y'all. Peace.